I can't believe it. We're actually playing Fracture here in the EGFH. Welcome back, by the way, to week 3 of play. It's the Jose Marti STEM Academy Atomic Knights taking on the Marti Sheehan High School Titans. I'm Time to Light. Still joined with me is Nerd's Corner.
Hello.
Fracture as a showing for our first map, with Lotus to come second. Thoughts to open things up.
This is one of those maps that you have so many different unique and interesting strategies. I wouldn't be surprised if we see something prepared from the Titans. This is their pick. This is what they're kind of comfortable with, if they decided to pick it. So I want to see some lineups from that Cypher and some really interesting plays from this double duelist setup that they have here. Not a common thing that you would see, and if you're going to be seeing a duelist, it's usually either Yoru with some really good lineups or a Neon to get in and execute on that site and use the wall. Oh,
yeah, the sides are backwards. I was going to indicate this mainly because it's weird for me looking at Mark T. Sheehan and saying, "Wait, why are they running a Reyna on their own map pick?" These lineups
makes a bit more
with the
sense.
sides now correctly indicated. Thank you very much, Juke. Cool broadcaster in the background. Titans setting things up as one would originally expect. Now, the notable changes that you could see are a KO being subbed in. You wouldn't usually see a Sova. A Jet isn't abnormal. It's really up to preference at that point. Yeah, Neon can come through, but has fallen out of favor in recent patches. But Brimstone's about as normal as things can get. Sage is about as abnormal as things can get. Cypher, sure, whatever. But really, I want to look at the Reyna, because providing very little utilitarian value, that's a question. Did I just see a Sage wall in spot? Wait a second.
Wait.
Please tell me.
Oh,
what is this?
No. This is some crazy outplay, some grim walls here. No, I'm kind of stunned to say anything from there, but maybe so for early aggression on B main, they're trying to read into it and see if they can catch anyone off guard. I feel like that's a really good wall, but maybe after a little bit of conditioning and maybe trying to get them to think that space is free, it would make sense. But otherwise, I think it's just going to go to waste, unfortunately.
Pistol round, no less. That's what really hurts. I'd see that as a foreseeable thing in a normal gun round when you have a lot of an eco. Why not? But when you're walking around with just pistols and it's a pistol round buy, I don't know about it. They're going to fully transition. Instead, JMSA will head over towards this far B side. Decent bit of damage done by Staggy, but it's still the site falling, and this should be a spike plant. Kenny, not if they have something to say about it, though.
They also had a sheriff in their hands, so that means they spent money on, or someone bought them. That being said, both Cynthia and Nock are able to get picks of their own, leaving the Atomic Knights down and out. And there's that sheriff in the hands of Big Falapa, going now to the Titans.
They'll cleanly take the first round, and even with a fairly quick rotation from the Atomic Knights, the Titans were there, ready for it, and most importantly, they split how they were retaking. They came in from spawn, you had one from main, and of course, well, we saw the rotation up through tower, cleanly taking things in their favor. I appreciate the creativity of that wall. I'm also totally stealing it for my ranked play, however, I don't think pistol round is the time to do it.
I think it's an interesting... I think that those types of walls are really interesting. I feel like most grim walls, you need to like I said, you need to condition the enemy team a bit more. You need to make them feel comfortable gaining that space just to bamboozle them with the wall. Otherwise, it doesn't provide as much value or utility, especially in the team play. That we see the team play that we see here in comparison to your ranked games.
True. A little bit more camaraderie helps. Double tripwire setup around towards B main. Sage self-heal, really going to be inconsequential to the round outcome. 9 HP left over, increasing over time. Didn't really matter. Staggy, one body shot. Flawless second round. Honestly, exactly what the Titans were looking for. This will be a full bonus round for them, and the Atomic Knights, on the other hand, will fully reinvest. This should not be a buy whatsoever from the Titans. It should be a fairly clean round on paper for the Atomic Knights, but I also don't want to casters curse them.
Yeah, we don't want to call anything out just yet. Basically full buys here, as it's going to be the first gun round. Although they're I don't know. They were hovering some specters. Let's see if the Titans can keep it up here. Early utility gives Knock the information that they need to rotate off. Oh, Cynthia runs in, but still able to grab one. Yanyans with a trade. Pinstripes, we already start seeing them. The back and forth needs to dodge away, but Yan of Yans is able to grab Kenny. That ultimate already online. They're gonna run it in and run it back. It doesn't matter if you're gonna get caught out because you have that extra life, as the spike is already gonna be going down onto an open and free A site. Yan of Yans in the back over there as Phoenix doing a decent amount of work. He's able to get Staggy, and it's looking very good for the Atomic Knights.
Well, that's such a great back out as well. Yan's got a kill and took the zipline across, so really easily able to get the heck out of dodge. Tripwire activated, so Kakashi knows that Dish is the call, and this should be a fairly clean round victory. It is indeed. Sushida's just going to run away, and quick finish there as they will retreat out of position. And at this point, JMSA pick up their open round, bonus round, again, on paper, something they should win, but it's still a position in, well, you were looking at it and saying they probably could have won prior as well.
And Yan of Yans finishes things off, and now this is looking like a heated battle. They're starting to warm things up. I mean, we got to see some plays last match,
really quick. We noticed that the sides were originally correct, then thought they were incorrect because of somebody's name in Discord, so we switched them back, and now they're back the other way. So we apologize. JMSA does have the lead. Sorry about the name switching. Sheehan's on the attack.
Okay. So the Titans did go with, so the Titans do have this double duelist setup, and they pick this map. So on their map pick, yeah, they really have to be confident with this double duelist setup then.
I was originally thinking, well, why would they have such an inordinate composition on a map they did not select? And I was thinking, well, maybe it's just not something they were expecting. But either way, JMSA apparently flexing to the non-map selection fairly easily, indicating they know what to do in abnormal picks, and it's working out fairly well for them. Knock a clean double. Camera behind Kakashi indicates, well, they know exactly where the Omen is, of whom is still stuck in this corner of sight with no real easy way out, unless, of course, you have the Shrouded Step available. And then it is.
They're going on the hunt. Spike in Kakashi's hands. 1v3. Knock looking for the fourth. With some utility, making sure to smoke them out in more ways than one. But with the time ticking down and the pressure mounting, Knock finds the 4-piece. Like a suit, he's able to fit in perfectly.
We're ready.
Play from Knock as well. Something you didn't really see was a stim beacon being put down. Knock decided to put a stim beacon at their feet as the smoke was dissipating. So even if both them and Kakashi start shooting each other at the same time, stim beacon gives Knock the advantage. And then, of course, they walk away with a kill. JMSA now have a 2-round lead and have denied that real first gun round of the map. Now, Sheehan's on the back foot. On their own map pick, on the attacking side of it, not the greatest of starts for them. Where, 2 rounds ago, contrarily, we were thinking it was just exactly what they needed.
Oh, and they're going to peek right into the op. Big flop of falls. Tsukida is able to grab 2, and that's the spike. They have to rotate to go grab it. And the Stinger is the op of the West. There's a lot of outplays that can be done with it, but against a real op in Tsukida's hands, and now with the Prowler giving away the information, it is going to be next to impossible to contest this. They're just holding it down confidently. It's a 2-player stack. Oh, but the little peek from Cynthia from the flank. We love to see the plays with Cypher.
Yan of Yen somehow still finds at least 1 kill, though, which is surprising to understate the obvious. So no flawless round for them, but not much you can do past that. You're being swung from 2 angles at the same time, one of which you would never expect ever. You're probably not going to survive it. JMSA now with a 3-round lead. They're mounting this, and Mark T. Sheehan don't have all that much of a response. Yeah, they have 4 rifles, but they have ultimates they've yet to use. One of them is one of the worst in the game, second to only the other ultimate of which they currently possess. That is the other.
Wait, which is the worst in the game? Are you talking about my boy Omen?
Yes.
Well, this is where I'm gonna argue one interesting point. His ultimate is really good in situations where you needed to counter to Cypher's ultimate, for example, especially because Cypher's ultimate just got buffed. Being able to see nothing on the map is still extremely valuable, in my opinion. It is. You could definitely argue that it's one of the worst, but I wouldn't discredit it as bad by any means. It's just needs to be creatively utilized.
I mean, it's an ultimate, so it's never going to be bad. It's just not going to be amazing to use. For instance, Neural Theft can be used in very select situations. Kenny, walk forward, even with the Neural Theft, almost misses that second opportunity because of how much information overload was given to them. Yan of Yans, now in a 1 versus 5 again, this time doesn't find a kill. In back-to-back rounds, Yan of Yans has needed to find 10 kills, all on their own. They have found 1, and the Atomic Knights have made it a 5-round scoreline.
They are doing the snowball of Valorant, piling up their economy, a broken buy coming out from the Titans as they have 3 rifles and 2 SMGs. Oh, now just that one. They do have those ultimates. Oh, no, it is 2. No, 2, 1, 1, 2. Mathematics, not the strong suit here. But what I do know is the strong suit for the Atomic Knights. It's almost like they have some sort of armor against them. They can't lose more than 2 players in each given round.
Oh, and again, a 1-for-1 trade. These seemingly continuously favor the Atomic Knights, of whom have just been walking away with advantages. But there's Kakashi, and there's the Shrouded Step, the lesser of the two between the ultimate and the primary ability. Kakashi now trying to back away, did not have the opportunity to retrieve the rifle, so no even fight there, but they may not need an even fight. The Atomic Knights are a man down and trying to retake a site of which they currently kinda possess, but again, really only kinda. Oh, and timing. Sushida, they die because of it.
Unfortunate set of circumstances fall into place. 2 players left for the Atomic Knights. As I was saying, they were, they don't lose that many players. The caster's curse comes back and alive. Kenny on the prowl and on the hunt. But with this setup so far, they have players doubled up on his position. FYI, Testify is able to close and round things off. This is going to break the cycle.
By no means are the Atomic Knights out of this round, though. You're talking about that snowball effect. Because of it, they have more than enough of an economy to buy in this round, and basically more than enough to buy next round as well. Everybody can buy up. Cynthia would be able to buy a knock if they needed to. They're looking pretty good. JMSA, they need to win those fights, though. In that previous round, they were really just collapsed upon. Mark T. Sheehan got a little bit of timing in their favor as well. Few notable positions for them to play off of, and you're in a pretty good spot. 1-for-1 trade, Cynthia does drop Big Floppa, but there's Thanatos with that op in hand, and another 1-for-1 trade in the first 15 seconds of the round.
I wouldn't be surprised if if we see that Sage Wall or some more creative Sage Walls coming up from Thanatos with the op plays. Getting that ultimate now gives them the man advantage as well. This is the power. I mean, we were talking about ultimates and ultimate balance for our lone Kakashi over here, but that ultimate is truly one of the best in the game. Sage Res, you have the man advantage. You have the confidence to swing angles together and not really worry about if you're going to die out.
Oh, but there's Sakita making sure that Big Floppa dies again in this round. Almost finds a follow-up onto Yana Yams, and finally does. 2-for-1 trade overall in the round. Even with that ultimate, it doesn't matter. Sakita, a follow-up just the same. Thanatos flashed off the angle. Sakita makes it a 4K. No ace for them. Kakashi will die to Knock, of whom I believe finds their 10th kill on the map. 11th, actually. And they're not done.
The controller getting the controller and the Sentinel getting high kills is not too surprising, especially considering their position. I always find some people find it surprising or interesting, but to me, I think it makes a little bit of sense, especially if you have really good initiators with high assists and low kills, giving the supports and the duelists more specifically those frags. But the duelist's job is to make space, so sometimes they'll die, sometimes they won't be caught in the correct position, and so it makes sense for them not to succeed. But Yan of Yan's showing us exactly how to make space, pushing all the way through main.
Still trying to play aggressive. Probably not the most advisable thing when the entire opposing team knows exactly where you are. Here's the aggression from Thanatos outside of the smoke. Catches Nock without their gun out, but is still dropped out of the fight. Kakashi tries to follow up, but Nock says, "You shall fall just the same." Yan of Yans almost dies to another op in back-to-back rounds. Luckily for the time being is still alive, but Sakita is still here trying to fight them off and misses another opportunity. Somehow hits a headshot on a jumping Phoenix across their screen, but still can't hit the operator shot. Okay, whatever. Did Sakita make up their mind?
No.
How in the world does that happen? In back-to-back rounds, Sakita has found 5 kills. Nock has found 5 kills, 4 and 1, 4 and 1 respectively.
Knocking them down.
What? That was good. How in the world does Sakita miss 5 up shots, but nails back-to-back classic headshots?
You know, the op, it's powerful, it's really good. The point and click adventure game that it is, but sometimes you gotta old reliable. The classics stay true, the Beethoven, the Mozart, and the gun all together. I mean, sometimes you just want to sing a tune that works better, and what better tune is there than a right click or tip tap with the classic? But Sakita, I think Sakita heard you and was like, you're talking about my op skills? I mean, I'm a jet with an op. I mean, I have the capabilities of it.
Oh, no.
He's able to get a third on Thanatos, looking for the ace that was snatched away from him earlier.
It's entirely possible he finds as well, because nobody else is around this ace side. They would have to updraft up and over the wall, of which they do so. But I don't think this round may really change the overall outcome. Sakita's still getting aggressive, will run away, and is heard, so they may be caught looking the wrong way. Testify, however, will have a Spectre at long range. There's Sakita caught with the knife out and will fall. But where do Sheehan go now? The answer, apparently back towards spawn, probably not the more advisable of the two directions, and that's exactly why, because Nock is there. Big Floppa now alone, flashed, has a Cypher cage behind them, Aftershock in front of them, 3.5 players all looking their general direction, and their whereabouts certainly known. Cynthia adds insult to injury and finds our first melee kill of the day.
I mean, the champion that they are, 12 and 3. They gotta master all of the weapon types, obviously. Regardless, they both have their ultimate online, Nock and Cynthia, for Atomic Knights. And whether it's... I've seen this happen sometimes, whether it's thought out or not, the team that picks the map sometimes doesn't do a good job on said map, but then on the flip side, on the reverse, the team that doesn't pick the map does a good job. So there's still, not only is there still some time in this map, there's some time in this series.
And if he ends, does pick up the kill, retrieves the operator, and will retreat with their life. Cynthia should die here. No, instead actually sees the Omen around the corner, has the operator out, but is nearsighted and can't do a whole lot with a long-range weapon without long-range sight, to understate the obvious.
Now they're gonna call for a rotate.
And then they reswing him. What?
That's one, that's two. You know,
oh my gosh.
We're gonna see some classic plays, but they don't work out. Yan of Yans can trade them with the op plays themselves.
The op, they are kind of seen by a haunt, but not really. I don't know where in the world that haunt was. Apparently, neither does the game. Testify, walking around with 5 HP, is hit for another 150 HP and drops into about a grave 17 feet under with all the overkill it was just done to them. Yan of Yans in another 1vx. This time it's only 3 players to find. They do have run it back in 1 ultimate orb and a kill, or just 2 back-to-back kills. The problem is they cannot retrieve the spike safely because, well, they're staggy, and they still had to get onto the site just to plant the aforementioned spike. JMSA with 9 rounds now, and the half still has 1 to go. And they're running quad ops. Okay.
Okay, that's...
Make it a fifth. Make it a fifth. Make it a fifth. Make it a fifth.
That-
Do it.
Why are you feeding the fire? Oh
Yes.
my golly. I mean, listen, this strategy is ill-advised because of like the mobility of it, and there's an Odin with Kakashi. I hope they stick with it because they'll find a decent amount of value if you can catch someone off guard, because operators are so good, right? They have 4 ops, not the 5, but they're still so difficult to get multi-frags here. Speaking of which, look at that. That's 3. The Blade Storm goes out with a 4th.
Okay.
He's hunted for the ace now. He wants to find it. Thanatos is trying to stop them, but it's not possible. Tsukida shows us that the operator who needs 5 ops time to light when you have a phantom in the hands of a absolutely amazing player.
So I hate to tell you, nerds, we actually read the script wrong. It didn't say 5 ops in round 12. It said 5 kills in round 12 from non-ops.
Of course.
The little differentiation kind of means a lot when push comes to shove, and Tsukida just casually holds W outside of A main. But, that's neither here nor there. JMSA has an 8-round lead. They have 3 rounds to find. This is not their map selection, but apparently they could not care less.
They have the confidence. They have the capabilities and the thought processes to do so. Tsukida and Nock have such a good combination of playstyles that they're just able to carry it for the rest of their team as well. I can't say enough about Staggy helping them with the haunts, figuring out the positions. The utility utilization from our 2 initiators, Kenny and Staggy, has been supporting these star players immensely. So hopefully on attack here, they can continue that. But that being said, the timeout is actually brought to us by the defenders, by the Titans. Hopefully this will give them, pay some dividends to them, pay them in full, give them some rounds in this game.
They need to be able to bring it back. Pistol round would be pretty good time to do so, because if you don't win the pistol round, you're probably losing the map. And JMSA, not ones to give up rounds very easily. Of course, winning the pistol to open things up, contrary to what we originally thought. And Mark T. Sheehan, they are kind of getting dumpstered. But remember, there's still a map to play. By no means are they out of this.
That being said, Kakashi has the strat, has the call. Unfortunately, it doesn't work out, and they have to rotate back. They've already taken so much control in spawn. They're just in the spawn. They're running towards B. It was a complete fake on A, leaving 2 players there.
And it's working.
And it's working. It's working so well. They have control of arcade at this point, and they have so much, not only so much map control and space, but look at this. Kenny is pushed up, staying in spawn. They're able to maintain their position and make sure they know exactly where they're coming from. But because they have this space in arcade, they have to respect it, and it's going to give them so much room. Both Tsukida and Knock them out are able to get it. It is Yan of Yans to knock out Knock, though. With a team ace on the end, everyone's got their one. They're playing perfectly with an 11-2 scoreline.
The question is a team ace better than a flawless? Because it's significantly more rare.
I think,
but which one actually pops up when you find both? Assuming all 5 players stay alive and all 5 players find a kill. I want to know what like the extremity of levels for what accolades pop up. You have team ace, regular ace, flawless, clutch, thrifty. Which one pops up over others?
I think the rarer one would pop up, right? Like all things considered, you would. I mean, I would say this.
Then how do you differentiate which one's rare? Because I think aces are less rare than team aces. Yet I think team aces pop up more often. Granted, they wouldn't pop up at the same time, but that's neither here nor there. JMSA, by the way, are just casually walking onto the site again. This time it's B without a fake, and this time it is about as cleanly as you can get. Yan of Yans does find 1 kill. They have managed to get their 1 on an alarmingly consistent basis, but it doesn't really matter, does it? Because Kenny immediately dropped a big floppa, and JMSA, in the blink of an eye and about 30 minutes passing, are on map point.
And I mean, to give props to Atomic Knights, they're playing their game really well. Even though they're running in there, confidently, knowing that the enemy is going to be on a save most likely, or at least on slightly worse weaponry. And even though they lost a player, they lost their Jet, who was not only saving for an op and saving for better weaponry, but also just traded instantly not letting them pick up that sheriff, not letting them get any ground, any room to work with. They instantly swing, get the trade. Staggy's able to get it. And speaking of Staggy, he grabs Yan of Yan's again with the trades.
1 for 1 at a bare minimum. Mark T. Sheehan have brought it back to even. Good haunt, however, will drop down Thanatos, their position more than known. Zakito wants to get aggressive and will do so off the back of a Prowler. However, this one doesn't work nearly as well. It's still a 1 for 1 trade, though. Staggy trades off their own kill and utility. It's down to Testify. 1 versus 3 finds the first, but is unaware of Staggy's aggression behind them. JMSA, the Atomic Knights, walk away with map 1, 13-2. I'm getting some flashbacks.
Wow. Yeah.
First series.
It is reminding me of that. And I remember talking at the beginning of this, we were saying that whoever picks this is going to have a huge advantage. They're going to have some thought processes on how to play the game. And I was really interested to see in that double duelist pick. Me personally, I'm not a big fan of double duelist, only because I think the double initiator provides a bit more value and utility, especially because you have the flashes and you have the information, like someone like Sky, who literally has both, with the Fox Spirit Dog, Trailblazer, and the guiding light to those hawks that flash. You literally have flashes to stun and information to know where your enemy is. If you don't have that, it's kind of difficult to execute on that site, and Fracture is one of those maps where you really have to execute.
Personal favorite agent in the game is KO, because you have the flashes to stun, you have the 0 point to both identify where your opponents are and make sure they can't use their abilities, and then the null command. The game break, except for your teammates. I also just lagged. Give me a second. There we go. Hi, I'm back. Sorry. And then, of course, the null command to make it Counter-Strike for basically everybody other than your teammates. I came from Counter-Strike, so it makes my life a little easier. Anyway, we still have a second map. We are going to see the newest map, as a matter of fact. Lotus is our second. By the way, if you know the hierarchy of accolades, thrifty, flawless, whatever it is, if you know which one trumps the other in chronological order, please tell us in Twitch chat, because I'm honestly curious, and a Google search turned up nothing. So while we take a break, go do your Google searching, and we'll be back with Lotus in just a bit. Your eyes do not deceive you. Lotus is map number 2. It is picked by JMSA as the Atomic Knights decide to send us to the newest map in the competitive Valorant pool. We'll send ourselves in and see what the agent selection becomes. I have no particulars. You do you. I have played the map a single time, and I have a cool clutch clip. So that's about it.
I mean, hey, you got a cool clutch clip, and that is sometimes more valuable than anything else. But considering that the Atomic Knights, the JMSA, they just won 13-2, and this is their pick. It's not super, it doesn't look that good right now for the Titans, but all things considered, we have seen teams play on their opponents' maps and do a really good job, win out and be successful against them. That being said, we're going to be seeing Yan again on that duelist role, going for Phoenix instead. I honestly think Phoenix, with his buffs recently, have been... I think he's still very playable. There's a lot of room to mess around with his utility, and we get to see the double duelist combo. The two duelists, interestingly enough, that we were talking about together.
My favorite duelist combo. Just saying.
Your favorite one?
My favorite.
I would
that's
switch.
neither here nor there.
I would say the Fade.
Chamber, by the way, is also a duelist. I don't care what anybody says. Well, he used to be a duelist. Not anymore. I think the stagnation of his rendezvous has made him more of a set, but still kind of, because he has that get out of jail free card as long as he's in a certain radius. But we'll move on. Mark Sheehan will start on the defensive side. This has to help them. This is not their map selection. They lost 13-2 on their own map selection, and it didn't even look like they had full strats on it. They need to start off well. Pistol round's probably a good start. After that, then we can move on. But on the other side, JMSA, they, again, look like they have a little bit more of a different than usual composition. I'd say Mark T. Sheehan, just like last map, look like they have the more put together of comps. If I had to guess who picked this map between the two, well, I'd say it was Sheehan, but obviously that's not the case because I already know.
I think Breach is really powerful on this map, though. KO, I know you said you like KO and his combinations, and his utility does make it kind of like CS at this point, but I still think that the combo of Breach is better as we see Breach falling to Kakashi.
First kill goes the way of the Titans, but that's about all they've found since. Overall, 4 versus 2. The Atomic Knights will get a bomb plant, spike plant, and at this point, it's down to just one. Clutch attempt, big floppa on the clutch this time around on the Cypher, but is immediately taken care of. The Headhunter, hunting heads, and finds them, as the Atomic Knights will open up with a pistol round.
I mean, it was unfortunate we didn't get to see too much play from Cynthia, but Kenny being able to pop off for their team, getting 4 ult orbs now that his ult has been increased and nerfed a bit. I think that because of the long range duels that we have to see on A site and a little bit on C, you know, that mound on C site is frustrating, but we do still see long range battles throughout most of this map. I think the Headhunter and the Tour de Force are going to be well utilized on this map particularly.
Aggression on towards B once more here from the Atomic Rockets, or Atomic Knights. Knock, dropped by Kakashi, so an opening kill again goes the way of the Titans, but a lot of damage has been done in return. Cynthia, by the way, just finds a clean cutoff. Testify not even looking the right way, not even aware of the fact that Cynthia's pushed all the way up on A, and that's, by the way, where the spike is going. All that damage done prior is nullified, not from Staggy's Ghost, however, and somehow the Titans have still not noted that Cynthia is flanking. I think they finally have started worrying about it, but what?
A is the plant. I mean, everyone has been wrapped around, but A is going to be the site that they go for. He's able to grab 2, but Testify with the trade. That's the power of the Shorty. It is probably one of the best weapons if you know how to play with it, because that short range accuracy and the short range potential to just dominate. It's a 150 cred weapon that just shreds in the hands of a good player.
Wild to see how well JMSA are playing just the same, because in a lot of these rounds they don't have the best of weaponry. For instance, that round they were walking around with a Marshall and a Shorty, and Cynthia, they just decided, hey, I'm gonna just barrel stuff people, because why the heck not? And it worked out perfectly, by the way. JMSA again choose the ace site because it's worked ever so well in the last couple of rounds. They will open up the short door. Thanatos does throw out that 0 point, of which finds 2 different players. The problem is it's not really actionable intelligence. They can't play off the back of it. There's not a whole lot they can do with it. The fragment found absolutely nothing, and well, clean take again set up here for the Atomic Knights. There goes the Trailblazer, in goes Sakita. They do not find anything, however, and a clean start for the Sheehan Titans, at least off the beginning.
Now, with Nock being able to take out one more, 2 players left for the Atomic Knights, it's looking really good for them. Now it's just 1 player left, and the next round goes to the Titans. They're going to slowly try and make their way back up onto that leaderboard, but who's to say? It is going to be the first rifles in the hands of the Atomic Knights. And JMSA, you know, they just won handily 13-2. They just had a really easy victory here. And the Titans do not want to be going down without a fight, as they are preparing and getting ready. They have a full buy here as well, even though they're on light shields. Thanatos and Testify are both going to be going with their teammates to play as a team together.
We've gotten an update on what the hierarchy is, by the way, for all of you curious. Ace
yes.
over Team Ace, but neither of them happened at the exact same time. If an ace and a clutch happen at the same time, the ace trumps it. Flawless beats all of those, or Flawless is under that, Thrifty under that. So there's your hierarchy of accolades at the end of the rounds. Why did Cynthia just walk in to Testify? Big Floppo waiting on the other side of one as well. The Titans given a few opportunities. Sakita on the opposite side of it, just walking straight through, and well, finds a follow-up as well, a 3v2 at this point. And well, Testify's left alone.
They're doing so well doubling up.
Holding W.
Yeah. And they're doubled up on most angles, so it's really not too hard to see them winning out in these duels. If it's a 2v1 and you're holding an angle and you're peeking into them, it's almost impossible to win. They do only carry 2 weapons into this next round, but considering it's going to be a save or at least a broken buy for the Titans, the Atomic Knights are sitting pretty. And I was kind of correct. I was like, the Team Ace would trump it because the Team Ace is just cooler. Team Ace, everyone gets their 1, and a Flawless is nice, like no one dies, but you know, you also, no one dies, and everyone did get their 1, so the team is working together cohesively as one unit. They win their duels one-on-one, and not only do they win their duels, but they also do stay alive.
We love that for them. And, oh, Thanatos, please tell me Thanatos doesn't open this. Rolling Thunder onto the site. Thanatos tries to get aggressive, and it immediately is domed, courtesy of Staggy. Classic nerf hurts Thanatos in that conversation just a little bit. Kakashi on the backside of sight really can't take an actionable fight unless Cynthia walks straight into them. Sakita, however, there for the refrag and can retrieve that Vandal as well. Staggy, already with the Vandal they picked up prior, able to find another, and it's a clean finish for JMSA. The Atomic Knights walk away again with a round victory. 4-1 at this point, and the only round that the Titans have won thus far, it's the bonus.
And again, I say this sometimes during play-by-play or sometimes during color. If guns are the only thing that differentiate you from your opponents, if ultimates are the thing that give you an edge, at that point, it's those things aren't a replenishable source of damage. You can't consistently ult. Sure, you can stagger some of them, like you can use Testify's ult that Swarm, why is my brain blanking? But you can use that for information right off the bat. Like we see the Seekers are coming out, but you can't consistently use it. It's not consistent, and that's what you need in this game, as Nock is able to consistently get these frags onto Testify.
Another opener goes their way. Big Floppa on the other side of this. That Neural Theft lands, so information there. A lockdown used as well. Kakashi, I think, trying to bait them into this, but I don't know if it's going to work. They instead just decide to back out entirely, at least most of the way. Aftershock possibly used, but it does not land. They even are able to detain out 1. that neural theft finally put forward only finds 2 players and can't do all that much with it. Yanavian's on a flank, misses that first opportunity. Cynthia not even taking their gun out yet, but now has support. Yanavian's still able to find at least 1 kill off the back of it, and will use the run it back in tandem with it. The problem, they don't find anything with it. Sakita on the other side of that will look to aggress once more. Kakashi on the other side of that exact same engagement will take damage, but walk away with their life just the same.
I feel like Sia is probably one of the easier sites to retake on this map, especially with all the angles. The Cynthia and Staggy are making me eat my words here. The Titans not being so strong on the retake, but they are slightly spread out, both Staggy and Cynthia. If you can isolate these 1v1s, Kakashi, you already know where one is, but they just need to keep the spike alive, right? The art of being a nuisance. Cynthia is able to grab Kakashi. They fall. That is going to be another round for the Atomic Knights.
5-1 for the Atomic Knights, and they're starting to run away with this. The problem for the Titans is consistency, where they'll find a round every so often. We saw that back on first map, but they can't string them back to back. And the Atomic Knights are taking advantage of that, especially when the Titans buy up in maybe disadvantageous scenarios, i.e. right now. You have 2 Spectres, a Stinger, a Shorty, and a Classic, all with half shields, but you're still investing a little bit into a round you may not have the best opportunity in, where you could probably use those funds maybe better elsewhere. Guiding later around the corner misses. Thanatos is safe for the time being, and the right click lands. So a 1-for-1 trade, that favors the Titans. That's a pretty good start for them, all things considered.
The right click, I mean, it might have been nerfed, but he's still able to use it. It failed him once, but succeeded. He's able to find a chip on the shoulder, gets one, but the flash is there. They're trying to go for the refrag, but Yanavians can't. Cynthia comes from the back, even though there was some team near sighting there. Paranoia not being used. I don't think it even hit Yans, but it definitely hit the Rays, unfortunately. Testifies looking to find anyone, catch them off guard. He does, but he's not able to secure it. He's got one, tags up another. Is he going to be able to secure this? Kenny says no. That is going to be the 6th round for the Atomic Knights.
They do it again, and they walk away, albeit with a caveat to that opening kill, a fairly clean round victory. You can see they're not forced to reinvest all that often. Obviously, losing Knock right off the bat hurt a little bit, but it wasn't a fully big detriment. And the Titans, even after finding that opening kill, weren't able to continuously trade that back and forth. Obviously, re-engaging onto a site you've already lost with disadvantageous weaponry, probably not the best of scenarios for you to be in. But now the Atomic Knights, well, they want to go back to what's been working, and that is the A site, with 4 of their 5 players, no less. 0 point lands onto, I believe, 2 of those 4 players. Kakashi is sitting inside of tree, and they've actually sprayed down, but that spray missed. This is a problem now for the Atomic Knights. They may not clear this, and this is also a rat spot for all of you ranked warriors. Just wait, and more often than not, people will walk right by you. But still, it's a 1-for-1 trade. Now Saggy with a double. The Atomic Knights, well, they find out they could go onto A. They understand it's a full stack, and from the shadows, back to C.
Hey, I remember us talking about this ultimate. See, it has its uses. Hey, it has its uses here, as it's going to net them another round. Kenny and Sakita catching players out of position. Last one goes down, and that from the shadows allows for a beautiful fake. I was about to say, they have someone spread out, not only for information, but also for control. The over-rotate onto A site, you know, they had to make it convincing with a 4-stack, but from the shadows also allows them to make it 2 players on C, or even have someone rotate entirely over to the other side of the map. And also, I mean, they can't see the map, so it's all grayed and blurred out in favor of the Atomic Knights. The only ultimates on the line are that Seeker for the Titans to gain them information, and the Tour de Force. Hopefully one day we'll see it pop off again, like it once did in the past, maybe on that A site, holding a very long and drawn angle deep into Nest, but we'll see if that gets popped.
You know, Kenny shows around the corner, and here's the quick engage. Sakita doesn't avoid the flash, though, and is unfortunately caught with utility out. But the problem is, the Titans have focused a little bit too much on that A side. Kakashi, being encroached upon, is aware of it, but Cynthia still wins the fight, and just to make sure that the corpse is indeed a corpse. Rolling Thunder goes through around towards the A link, but it misses. In its entirety, Cynthia only finds one of those two possible follow-up kills, but Kenny misses their opportunity. Thanatos finds a free frag, and it's down to Staggy in a 1v2. Stuck on the far side, towards the A link, knows at least one of the two players on that opposite direction, but I don't think they've been seen. They have a lot of time to work with.
Slow and steady wins the race. There is 30 seconds left on the clock, but he doesn't have the spike.
30 seconds
sure, you got to make a play. You want to try and win by frags alone, but if you're going to get caught without a gun in your hand, it doesn't matter, and it's the second round being picked up by the Titans.
Ladies and gentlemen,
just unfortunate.
And all of you in between, is why you walk around with your weapon out. Unless, of course, you're walking around already controlled real estate, usually around attacker spawn or defender spawn, whichever side you're on. Either way, pretty good spot for the Titans to take. And they held exactly as required. I appreciate them not sitting in one spot, playing for the Atomic Knights to take it. Saggy caught out because of a good re-engagement by the Titans. That's how you come back into a map. Kakashi falls around the corner. There should be a sound cue of you being blinded, and as soon as that comes through, they spray down the box and find the opening kill. Good communication there to start out the round. Almost a shot landed for Kenny. They do have the Tour de Force out, as you indicated prior, but they've yet to decide to use it. Cabbages go through. The Anna Vians is caught out by them, but not a whole lot they can do off the back of it. And Big Floppa catches them looking the wrong way. Kenny will have to take out the tripwire or go the long way around just to go towards B, and the problem is, well, they're in a 1v2. Sorry, 1v4, and they've now definitively been caught out. They almost jumped into the other one as well.
I remember talking with some other casters, and we did too much research on this, but it is Cabbages as Kenny falls. Cabbages, birds, foxes, and then pollen for the heals. We had a huge discussion because I thought they were jellyfish at first. They look like little jellyfish things. But no, the cabbages go out, and it's a really useful ultimate, which is why Sky is one of the better initiators, and at least in my opinion. Cynthia and Kenny both at the top there, and this is starting to be a reversal. Some more rounds going in favor of the Titans. They have a better economy, still kind of splintered and broken up. They had the money to buy for their teammates, but unfortunately not the time. The Tour de Force coming out in the time of need to provide them with a well-needed utility and weaponry to hopefully win out these fights, as it's Yan of Yans who's going to be using an operator of their own.
The opening goes the way of the Titans, now looking to build whatever advantages they can hold. The problem is they've given up all of C, basically for free. Not a whole lot of utility was required, and Cynthia can get this spike plant down. I was talking about this with our producer in text chat just a little while ago. When you have full site control, the usual call, plant in that close corner, and then just play around the main mound. It's a whole lot of real estate to work with. Good timing shot from Kenny. They were fully blind when that went off. Yan of Yans, however, the aggression works out for them. The operator shot around the corner, and they were able to drop down knock. Kenny's still playing somewhat aggressive though. Tour de Force out, waiting towards the link, and they'll find Kakashi off the back of it, looking for another as they take the rendezvous to the back of site. The sound cue isn't there. Kenny able to find a follow-up, finally is taken care of, but it's still a 2 versus 2, of which Staggy wins the opening of the 2 engagements. Testify left alone with just themselves on their own, and the Shrouded Step heard, but not taken advantage of. Staggy wins both, and the Atomic Knights come back.
They're able to come back, and that Tour de Force, the play, TPing back onto site. A very interesting play, but nets them great results for Kenny. 14 on that leaderboard. And it's a full buy for the Atomic Knights on this final round, as it is, again, splintered. Kakashi does not have the economy to purchase up, and they're going for a risky play here with that operator. The newly nerfed Boombot goes out and falls a little too short, and that's what most people are complaining about. It's now 5 seconds. Staggy going to pick up the spike.
but not a clean opening engagement. Knock actually finds a double in towards B, both up towards that heaven position, and the B side has fallen, but the spike is not there. Instead, going towards C, dark cover between Kakashi and the site itself. Staggy wants to get the spike plant down, and there's not a whole lot between them and doing so, really only a nanoswarm, of which is actually just shot out, so inconsequential to understate the obvious. But a 3v2, neural theft used, finds the information, but not a whole lot they're going to be able to do with it.
And again, like you said, the site is controlled, so planning open isn't too much of an issue as Big Floppa falls. Oh, what does Kakashi do in this situation?
Well, for starters, they shoot out from the shadows, the arguably worst ultimate in the game. I'm sorry, I just had to say it. But at this point, in a 1v3, they are trying to flank. This should work out fairly well, but actually Kenny turns around. Will find the first, does Kakashi. The second, not given the full opportunity, and the shrouded step up and over. Kakashi switched out for an empty weapon, had to switch back in. It ends up being their undoing. Jose Marti making a 9-3 first half. By the way, in back-to-back series, we have seen a 13-2 first map end, and a 9-3 first half end of the second map.
Yeah, this is... You are correct. I'm looking at the stats right now. I'm like, wait, yes. First it was on Ascent with the Falcons and the Tigers, and now for the Atomic Knights and the Titans. Man. It's interesting, though, the Atomic Knights themselves being harder. I guess Titans are having a hard time toppling them. But it's not over till it's over. Like we were discussing earlier with the 9-3 curse and the 9-3 playstyle, it is in the terms of the stats, it's probably one of the lowest scorelines you can have and still comfortably come back at.
We promise it's not actually a situation where you're cursed. Superstitions be damned. You do you. JMSA do open things up, 2-for-1 trade. Good paint shells around the corner. Add 3 assists onto that. Sakita finds a second just the same and builds up another set of paint shells as well. A 2v4 now for the Sheehan Titans. They're being flanked. They're being encroached upon from the front just the same. And it's down to Testify. 1 versus 4. Finds a first. Needs to reload the Frenzy. Is able to jump around and somehow find a second. But Sakita will make it a third for themselves and win the pistol.
I can definitely prove without a shadow of a doubt that that happened and that was an insane play from Testify. Now, in this situation, you are down by so many rounds. You just lost the pistol, so traditionally you'd save, but it's going to be a forced buy because you gotta fight back against them. And this is the thing we've seen from the Titans a little bit, where they force buy. And sure, they were able to win some duels off of that, but they're not able to consistently net them. And that's the thing. Consistency is key. Sometimes you do want to maybe potentially lose a round or just rush onto a site just so you can get that plant money, preferably B. You know, it's pretty easy, but oh, Cynthia. There we go. The rain has been stopped. That happened.
Perfect setup as well. They guiding light around the corner and just clean triple. Or sorry, it was a regular flash from the breach themselves. But still, Staggy close now with the judge. Actually drops Kakashi because they threw a nano swarm. And Staggy is just better. Almost found another on to Testify, of whom heard the shrouded step and instead turns around and finds the kill. But it's still 1v2. You only have 59 HP left, and yeah, you can use your overgrowth, just you can't use it on yourself. A little bit of a problem. They may be able to buff Sky with that, by the way. Testify wants to turn this corner. Will do so, and they make it out as well. I'm a little surprised they are still alive, and they actually still have a shot at this round. Oh, but they're going to walk straight into either Kenny's trip or Kenny themselves. I think it's going to be Kenny's trip, and that may very well decide this round because Kenny's already available. We use the trademark, we use the rendezvous, and we'll almost certainly just completely swing and find it.
But there's also going to be a pinch. He knows exactly where Testify is, so why peek? I can hear you laughing a little bit over there. An unfortunate set of circumstances, the timing not going in Testify's favor. I was just going to comment on the fact that there's a pinch coming up and potential for Testify to play this slowly, as Kenny might wait for Sakita to push forward, but unfortunately they're not able to win out. It's not as clean cut as it's a threat. The looming nature of match point. 12 rounds, and that's the last. That is the last straw. Like, you are stuck there, right? Yep. If they have to play basically perfectly, they can only drop one.
They didn't clear Cynthia.
Oh.
Cynthia's gonna play Trigger Discipline. They're not even gonna kill Big Floppa first. They have so much help behind. There is no reason for them to find this first kill. They have so much time to work with, but they finally will pull the trigger. They will try to back away. There's even an Aftershock to use just the same. But at this point, it is just adding insult to injury. Cynthia will continue to swing, continue to frag out, almost finding a third as well, but instead will retreat out of contention. Oh! They decide to use the fault line and find a knife kill for
there we
3K.
go.
Testify is in back-to-back 1v2 scenarios, but this time has the spike and a little bit more time to work with.
And that time might be necessary here.
Oh no.
The Trailblazer didn't find them. And they're split up.
Heard. They jumped and missed. That's the issue. They jumped and tried to jump onto the high ground, but they missed, so they were heard.
Yeah, but look at the positioning of the Atomic Knights. They're separated currently. The Sky and the Rays are not playing together, so if Testify could, to a degree, get these 1v1s, take out Knock at least, that's going to be a slight advantage in their favor. Picking up a better weapon as well. There's that Guiding Light. It peeks. It doesn't flash them, but as a reactionary measure, they do it. Knock peeks out and knocks them down. Testify falls. There's nothing to attest to here. It is match points for the Atomic Knights, and also game points. If they win this, they win the series.
Map and series point here for the Atomic Knights. They're looking to really quickly take this one, even quicker than our previous series as well, which I believe, if I've done my reading of our text chat properly, was 13-5 or 13-3, 13-6. Yep,
yeah,
right.
13-6.
So
they won 3 rounds.
Just casually need to win. Yeah, they just need to win 3 rounds and make it a little closer. But I cannot say I'm particularly liking their chances. The run it back has already been used. I don't even think they're going to be able to make it to site by the time that expires. So
it's a very long run.
Full ultimate. And at this point, yeah, they made it to site. They fully cleared it, but they still have not cleared out tree. And what do you do at this point? Rolling Thunder, flash around the corner. Cynthia is caught out, but only for a second. A follow-up flash, a Guiding Light as well. Nobody can see a dang thing, and somehow everybody is still alive.
I mean, in the chaos, as long as you're spraying, as long as you're praying, we'll see who wins out. But again, that ultimate, it's such a long run to go through. The Titans, I mean, it is the beginning of the season so far, so nothing too crazy as Cynthia is able to grab 2. Kenny and Knock get pieces of their own. A flawless victory. And as the defenders win, that is going to be 3-13. For the Atomic Knights, they're going to consistently be pushing forward, right? We didn't know too much about them going in terms of their standings, but we do know a decent amount about them now. The absolute dominance coming from the Atomic Knights.
And the Knights hadn't played a game before this. They had back-to-back bye weeks based off of draws. They still have to play a few matches as well. I am scared for whoever they have to play, which, spoiler alert, is everybody. But I'm kind of scared for who they have to play. Mark Sheehan was one of the 2 other teams in the group with a win, at least in the first 2 weeks, and they've already been absolutely trounced, to find a no better adjective.
Trounced.
And at this point, what do you do if you're Mark Sheehan?
I mean, there's a lot to develop. We still have a full split ahead of us and a full couple of months to develop their strategy, to think of different things, and to grow as players. So I think we'll be back with you guys with an interview from the winning team to see how they are also going to be growing as well after a short little break.
We're back to the EGFH Season 12. It's week 3 here of play. I'm Time Late. Joined alongside me is Nerd's Corner. And in for an interview with us is Sakita from the very victorious Jose Marti STEM Academy Atomic Knights. Sakita, obviously a 2-0 victory, a fairly clean one at that, 26-5 in rounds overall. How do you feel after the
I feel really good. It was they were a great team. They had great plans. I just feel like in the end we were you know, the better team at the end. Obviously, we lost a few rounds. We could improve on that, but I feel like it was a good victory overall.
Well, speaking from a very baseline point of view, I wanted to talk about your compositions because I was looking at your comps and saying these don't fully make sense compared to the meta. Obviously, not 100% the case. Of course, bringing in a chamber, not always the biggest conversation point, but you guys weren't playing directly towards the meta, maybe a little bit more towards comfortability. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, we try to like get into the meta and stuff, but in the end, it's more on comfortability. You can't like expect the player to know perfectly how to play an agent. It's more on like who they're comfortable with and how it works overall with the team.
And speaking of which, because we talked a little bit about Chamber, have you guys practiced or trained on Lotus beforehand?
Yeah, we played a few matches on Lotus, and as you see, Risk or I'm sorry, Kenny, as you see on Val, he prefers Chamber over like traditional Killjoy on Lotus. So we decided like maybe it's just best to keep him on Changer, and you can see he performs well on it.
Well, yeah, I mean, Lotus is one of those maps. It's newer, so newer strategies develop, and it still has that long range capability. But to go to Fracture for a second, do you guys have? Is that your same logic, same mentality? You have the people who you're comfortable with, and can you talk to me a little bit more about the picks for that map and why?
Yeah, for especially Fracture, we like to rotate around the like who plays what. Like me, like this game, I played Jet, but I sometimes played Viper, which is like
Oh,
one of my stronger suits on Fracture. But
oh,
we like decide to try new things out, and obviously it gives us results. So we stick to them sometimes.
interesting.
Being comfortable is overrated. Who likes it anyway?
Oh,
I appreciate the switch up. It gives her a little bit better, I'd say, content, and it confuses the ever loving bleep out of me because it was fun to see the alarming amount of inconsistency that you guys had on a consistent basis, switching between roles between the maps, and like you said, playing completely different roles. You usually play Viper, instead it was the Jet. Final question, especially on Lotus, you guys seem to have a fairly good strat book, but you weren't immediately following everything to a T. Talk to me about maybe the IGL situation, because in our previous series, there was no IGL, even though there really was one just without a name. How do you guys lead between rounds?
See, usually, Cynthia, who's basically the mastermind of like all our plans and stuff, he thinks of a strategy. We usually follow it, and like sometimes the strategy won't always go to plan, and we decide to using our knowledge just to like venture off and find a way to win the round.
Well, following mostly to a strat, but the
Yeah,
improvisation worked out fairly well for you. I appreciate the insight, Sakita. Thank you very much for joining us. Final question for you before we send you on your way. Anybody you want to shout out? Any final thoughts on the series? The floor is all yours.
I would just like to shout out my teammates. They're amazing, a great team, and hopefully we can just win more matches.
Well, it's only week 3. There's a whole lot of time to do that. Again, congratulations on the victory, and thank you very much for joining us.
No problem.
Well, nerds, that does it for our 2 matches on the day. 2-0, 2-0, 13-8,
yeah.
13-5. No, 26-8, 26-5. That's
There
what
we
it was.
go. There we go. Mathematics, the shift and turn. But I'm excited to see all of these teams together. Whether it's the Falcons or the Tigers that we got to see earlier, or the Titans and the Atomic Knights that we got to see just right now, I'm excited to see these teams develop in the coming season, in the coming split.
As am I. And most notably, by the way, there are still more EGFH games to come, whether it's this week or into the coming weeks. Of course, this was Valorant. We have Rocket League on Wednesday, Overwatch on Thursday. I'm not sure if there's any other EGFH streams. I'm going to totally secretly ask my producer, who says no. So no, that's it.
Yep.
Valorant Monday, Rocket League Wednesday, and Thursdays your Overwatch matchups. If you'd like to join us, right back here, twitch.tv/EGFH. EGF High School. That's what it is, up there on the URL bar. Hopefully you join us for the rest of the week. That's going to do it for me and Nerds. Juke's been in the background running production, as he most of the time is here in the EGFH. We thank you ever so much for his service, and we thank you for watching. We'll see you hopefully on Wednesday.